Eddie Murphy vanished from Hollywood right when his career was peaking, but it wasn't burnout, and it wasn't some midlife crisis. According to what he just revealed on day 12 of the Diddy trial, it was something far darker, a secret party in the Hollywood Hills, celebrities stripped of their phones, and a twisted initiation that left him shaken to his core. He wasn't just uncomfortable, he walked away, and what followed wasn't public backlash or scandal. It was silence. Now, for the first time, Murphy is naming names and exposing what really happens behind Hollywood's closed doors. And if what he's saying is true, it changes everything. But this wasn't just about him. It was a system, and walking away from it came with a price. Let's break down exactly what he revealed and why his story is scaring people at the very top. No one expected Eddie Murphy to show up. The courtroom was already tense. After days of testimony, the Diddy trial had taken the kind of twists that leave headlines scrambling to keep up. But when the doors opened and Murphy walked in, the entire room changed. He wasn't scheduled. There were no leaks. Just a quiet entrance, followed by audible gasps. Diddy kept his head down. His legal team looked visibly shaken. Murphy took the stand, not as a performer, but as a man carrying something heavy. What came next wasn't just testimony, it was a warning. He didn't waste time with vague statements or safe soundbites. He started with a date, 2006. Then he described the moment that changed everything. At the height of a major comeback, Murphy was invited to a private event hosted by Diddy. It was supposed to be a casual gathering, celebratory, elite, exclusive. But the reality, according to Murphy, was something else entirely. In 2006, Eddie Murphy was poised for a massive second wind. After years of ups and downs, he was starring in major films again. The buzz around Dreamgirls was electric. Studios were calling. Big budget deals were on the table. He wasn't just back. He was about to dominate. So when an invitation came from Diddy for a private party in the Hollywood Hills, it didn't raise any red flags. These gatherings were part of the scene. And for someone like Murphy, already a household name, it was business as usual. But he now says that night marked the beginning of the end for his career. The party wasn't held at a regular mansion. It was a fortress, tucked behind gates, with layers of security and a guest list so tightly controlled that even assistants and entourages were left outside. Phones were confiscated. Guests were told this night was about being who you really are. At first, Murphy said he shrugged it off. In Hollywood, cryptic language is normal, but the deeper he got into the house, the more off it felt. There weren't any cameras, no media, no press, just familiar faces acting in ways he'd never seen before. Murphy said the moment he stepped deeper into the house, something shifted. It wasn't the opulence. He'd seen luxury before. It was the energy. The music was low, almost hypnotic. Conversations were whispered, and the people? They weren't acting like themselves. These were celebrities, actors, musicians, moguls, yet their behavior felt off. According to Murphy, it wasn't a party. It was something more controlled, more calculated. He described it as cult-like. Some guests wore masks. Others were seated silently in specific corners of the house. Staff members moved with eerie precision, never speaking unless spoken to. Murphy said it felt like a ceremony, not a celebration, and things only got stranger. He overheard snippets of conversations, coded language, references to tests and levels. No one explained what those meant, but everyone seemed to understand the rules, except him. Then came the so-called initiation. Murphy didn't give every detail, but what he did share was chilling. He mentioned a room, dimly lit, where a group had gathered to witness something symbolic. And what happened next was the moment everything snapped into focus. This is where the night crossed a line Murphy couldn't ignore. He said the group was ushered into a private room, invitation only. The lights were dimmed, curtains drawn, and the mood turned dead silent. What was about to happen wasn't entertainment. It was a test. According to Murphy, Diddy stood at the center, orchestrating the moment like a director on set. And then, without explanation, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was called forward. That's when things got disturbing. Murphy claimed that Johnson was pressured to perform a bizarre act in front of the group, eating raw monkey brains. Yes, you read that right. Raw, monkey, brains. The room didn't laugh. No one joked. It wasn't some fear factor stunt. It was framed as a rite of passage. Murphy didn't say Johnson looked forced, but he did say it was clear this wasn't optional. According to him, the offer came with a payoff, a future film deal. The implication? You play the game, you get the reward. Murphy refused to participate. When he stepped back, Diddy turned to him with a look he'll never forget. Then came the words that chilled him. Then why are you here? That's when Murphy knew. This wasn't about networking or status. It was about obedience. And in that moment, he made a choice. He walked out. Murphy says he didn't make a scene. He didn't call anyone out or go to the press. He just left, quietly. But in Hollywood, silence doesn't protect you. It erases you. In the weeks that followed, the shift was immediate. Phone calls stopped. Meetings were cancelled without explanation. Projects that once felt like done deals suddenly vanished. Studio execs he'd known for years stopped replying altogether. It wasn't a dramatic takedown. No public smear. No official blacklist. Just nothing. Murphy called it the quiet freeze. A cold, calculated kind of exile that no one ever talks about, because no one dares to admit it exists. He said he became a liability, not because he spoke out, but because he didn't comply. According to him, the industry doesn't blacklist you with threats. It does it with silence. You're not fired. You're forgotten. Murphy didn't name names in the aftermath, not yet. But now, sitting in that courtroom, he was done keeping quiet. Until now, Eddie Murphy had avoided pointing fingers. But on the stand, he didn't hold back. He named names. Not just Diddy, but others he described as part of a carefully protected inner circle. People whose power wasn't just influence, it was insulation. Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey. According to Murphy, these weren't just celebrities, they were gatekeepers, the kind of people who don't need to threaten you directly because their silence is louder than any warning. He called it the untouchable list, a small group of elite industry figures whose status makes them immune to criticism, no matter what whispers surround them. Murphy made it clear he wasn't accusing anyone of crimes, but he was drawing a map of fear, of protection, of people who, in his words, exist above the rules everyone else follows. He said the real reason people stay silent isn't because they're afraid of being sued. It's because they know speaking out means losing everything. Your work, your reputation, your future. Murphy looked directly at the jury when he said, "There's a reason no one talks about these rooms. It's not that we don't remember. It's that we know what happens when you do." Eddie Murphy's testimony wasn't just about a secret party or hidden rituals. It was a warning about how Hollywood really works behind the scenes. Success, he said, isn't about being the best actor or having the biggest hit. It's about playing the game. Talent alone won't protect you if you refuse to follow the unspoken rules. Murphy explained that the industry trades power in silence, favors in shadows, and loyalty in whispers. Refusing to comply doesn't just cost you opportunities, it ends your career. That's the message he wanted everyone to hear. Hollywood's elite don't just reward talent, they demand obedience. He described it as a system where those who dare to speak out are quickly erased, and those who conform rise to the top. It's a hidden economy, fueled by fear and maintained by silence. And walking away from it? That means risking everything. Eddie Murphy's story isn't just about one night or one party. It's a window into a hidden system that few dare to expose. Behind the glitz and glamour lies a network where power is traded like currency and compliance is the price of admission. His testimony challenges everything we think we know about fame and success. Is talent enough? Or is there a darker price everyone pays? Murphy's chilling account reveals that walking away from this shadow world isn't just risky, it's career suicide. And while his story centers on himself, the implications ripple far beyond one man. How many other careers have been quietly derailed for refusing to play along? How many untold stories are buried beneath Hollywood's polished surface? For the first time, Murphy is breaking the silence, forcing us to ask the uncomfortable questions. What really goes on behind closed doors? And what would you do if you were invited to that party?